Hello and welcome to Juicy Scoop. Well, I got a real treat for you. I've got the newest Real Housewife of New York, Barbara Kavovit. She's not only a Real Housewife, she's a mother. She's also an author, and I'm very excited for her book, Heels of Steel, which is basically your life but kind of hidden in a novel.
It is.
Yes.
I mean, I really wanted to give the juicy scoop, no
Yes.
pun. And
Yes.
I wanted to do it without really trying to, affect anybody's or having anybody put me in concrete,
Yes.
boots or anything and put
So
me underground.
that's kind of an interesting way to do it. So when you thought about I want to tell my life story in a book, who gave you that idea? It's like this is a way that you can really tell stuff and like legally protect yourself and have a little more literary freedom. Was it like the publisher, or how did you come up with that idea?
No, it's really been a burning desire. I have 2 books, but they're how-to books that I wrote, and it was really a take on how a woman gets things done in their home without having a partner. So how you can just DIY yourself. And when I've been in the construction business my whole entire life, and I really thought I was sitting outside by the pool in the Hamptons, and actually I think my son Zach was around. And he's like, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm writing a book." And when I told somebody I'm writing a book, they're like, "Yeah, right, she's writing a book." And it was like this thing inside of my head that I had to tell women about this story of a young girl from the Bronx that had no resources whatsoever, and how she dominated the male, eccentric construction industry in New York City.
And so you got inspired when you put a bunk bed set together at 9 with your dad.
Wow, I can't
And
believe
so-
you knew that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So then throughout that time, did you work with your father right from that point? Like as always helping him around the house, or what?
Well, I have a funny story. So I was obsessed with Barbie dolls at a young age, and I had every single Barbie doll and every single dress that you could ever imagine, and the Barbie camper and the airplane, the whole thing. And my dad came home one day with 2x4s, and we lived in the Bronx in this apartment, and he's like, "Come on, Barb, you're going to help me build bunk beds for your sister, and so you have more room in your bedroom," because we lived in a small 2-bedroom apartment. And I said, "Dad, I don't know how to build, I don't know how to hold a hammer." And he's like, "Come on, I'm going to teach you." So for the next 3 weeks, my dad and I built these bunk beds in this small apartment. And, as a 9-year-old girl, it was such an incredible learning experience and a sense of accomplishment and a sense of, I can't believe I did this with my dad, who took the time to teach me. And it just really built self-esteem for me as a young girl. And I didn't know it then, and I went to college, but I felt this burning desire that I wanted to not only be around men all day long, but I wanted to, build. I love the idea of transformation and really working with a space and seeing it come to life.
Well, what's really cool about the story is, that was a long time ago, and that was great that your father didn't assume, since you weren't a boy, that was something that he couldn't do with you. You were able to bond with your dad, which, again, back then, people didn't do that much with the opposite sex parent. And so I just think that's really cool, and people should, try to do more like activities like that with their young kids, and not just assume that they can't do it or they're not interested because they're not of that gender or whatever. So that's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't in the kitchen with my mom baking a cake. I was, hammering nails into 2x4s with my dad.
Well, I want to get more into that, but let's get into a couple things about the Housewives. Now, we saw you briefly last season because you were Luann's good friend. Now, how did you meet Luann? How long have you been friends for?
I met Luann during our camp days. Both of our boys went to the same camp. And she literally picked me up at the basketball court. She calls it a sandbox, but I'm like, Lou, it wasn't a sandbox, it was a basketball court. And I felt, she's very tall and gorgeous, and I felt this woman literally from my vision, my peripheral vision, staring at me. And I was like, who is this woman just staring at me? And she's like, "Hi, my name is Luann."
Or was she like, "Hi, my name is Luann Lesseps"?
Yeah, she was more like that,
Yeah,
actually.
yeah.
And she's like, "Hey, do you want to, go to lunch or, go to dinner or go to drinks?" And I was like, "Sure." So we became instantaneous friends. and our sons, like I said, went to the same camp, and we just, kind of hung in the same circles.
So for like how long ago? Like
14 years.
Oh, so you've been friends for a long time.
Yeah, way before Housewives.
So you were friends before the Housewives, and then when she got the Housewives, were you an avid watcher of it? Throughout the years, did they approach you prior to this season?
Yes, they approached me in season 4
Uh-huh.
when Cindy Barshop was the housewife, and
Yes,
it actually
that for people that know, she was the laser hair removal
Yes.
girl, single mom. I've met her a couple times. She's very nice.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. And it was actually between her and Zach tried out for it. They came to our house. They, did the whole test and everything. And it actually was between her and I, and she ended up getting it. She just had these twins.
Yes.
So it was a compelling story. And, I'm like somebody who just believes it wasn't the right time,
Yes.
it wasn't the right moment. Let's
Especially
move on.
with something like that.
Yeah.
Like if it's not meant, either God, whatever. What is that? Life's rejection is God's protection. So if something doesn't work out, I totally believe that too. Especially with
100%.
something like that, where you're exposing your life and everything. Probably maybe your son would have been too young for it. Maybe it would have affected him in a positive way. I mean, who knows?
Who knows is right. Yeah, and it's amazing that I was writing the book since 2015.
Mm-hmm.
So Heels of Steel started to come. I found out that it was going to come out this year, and the same time that Housewives.
Yes.
And it was just amazing, the timing, and like the positive karma in life, how that happens, how things just come together. I thought that was amazing for me.
So then that time it didn't work out. You continue to live your life. We see you involved with Luann's Nuptials,
Yeah.
where you said the famous line, and I quote, "I think she has something to prove." This is when your mic was on and you didn't realize it, about her marrying Tom. She'd rather go through it and get divorced than call it off. And now, this is what I read, and I don't know if it's true, that you had gone to court in an attempt to stop the audio from airing. Is that true?
No.
Okay.
I never went to court. What I did was, because Carol set me up, as now that I understand how the show works and how they grab your mic right away after you're done with whatever you're taping.
Yeah.
When you're done, you have an audio person on your back taking it off.
Right.
So during this party that Dorinda had
Yes.
for a charity event, which I donated my Diva tools,
Yes.
I wasn't filming. I didn't even sign a release that day. And I was off in, just hanging out. And Carol and I were friends.
Yeah.
And she came up to me and it was like,
So it was Carol's mic.
Carol was mic'd. I was never
got
mic'd.
Got it.
I was never mic'd. I never, and I didn't realize it, that people were actually following me around.
Yes.
The cameras were on me, but I was never mic'd. And so Carol was like, "Hey, do you want to go to dinner?" And I was like, "Sure, let's go to dinner." And then she started the conversation with, "So I don't get it. Why do you think that Luann wants to go through with this marriage?" And I thought to myself, "Oh, she's really concerned about Luann." Like, I just took it out of a sense of, this is another woman concerned for, her castmate. And so I started to go into it, well, this is what I think, and I never in a million years thought that was going to be aired. And, I really did believe that Luann shouldn't have gotten married, and
Right.
I was worried about her. I was just, after everything that was going on up until that point, I was just very concerned that she was doing the wrong thing.
Mm-hmm.
And she was.
And she was. And when I interviewed her, I said that too. I go, I think that in watching the show, like, she loved being a wife. She likes
loves
being
it.
a wife. Like,
Absolutely.
I remember there'd be a scene where she was like, "I have to go. My husband just flew home." And
she's great at it.
Yeah, I have friends that are better wives than I am. I have friends that really cater to their husband, and
Yeah.
it's very much I just want to make sure there's food in the fridge when he comes home. Let me make sure I shopped. And every dynamic is different, and I don't think that's making them archaic or not female enough or whatever. It's just that's their dynamic, and I saw her kind of like that. So I think when this opportunity came with Tom, I think that she was swept off her feet, and she did want it, and she was hopeful. And there's lots of brides.
She was in love. She
Yeah.
was really in love. She wanted it to work so badly, but he was such. Can I say the word?
Yes.
He was such an asshole. I mean, he really was. I mean, I don't think I ever told her this, but the first time I met him was at a charity event, like some bowling alley, and we were dancing and he grabbed me, and I swear he touched my ass and he like held it. And I thought to myself, this guy is so inappropriate, you know. And
was that before they were dating? That was just
this
like
is just when they started.
Oh,
you know,
so he was already with her when he.
Oh yeah, no, he was with her, like he was
Oh my
boyfriend
God.
girlfriend, or you know. And I saw him act inappropriate, almost too flirtatious.
Mm-hmm.
You know when your man or your girl, whoever it
Yeah.
is, they just get too on that other person, and you're
Yes.
like, whoa, that is not okay. That's how he was.
Well, it was interesting because there were things that, you know, my Juicy Scooper fans are, you know, huge fans of Real Housewives, and people would catch things like in the actual airing of the show that like not even a producer pointed out, which was like there was when they were on the boat for the engagement party. There is a moment where the cameras come around and he's got his hand on this other woman's like bare leg.
I mean, he just had no like sense of awareness. Actually, they made a very good team in that regard. Sometimes they, you know,
Right.
I mean, it's just they were party people back then.
Yeah.
You know, and they did it really well together. But again, I really do think that they did love each other. And
Now, he'd never been married before. Were his friends surprised that at 50, not only is he getting married, but he's getting married to a very high-profile reality star? Or, you know, the fact that he made little appearances throughout the last 10 years, dancing with Ramona at some other thing, they keep showing him. Do you think, you know, he liked the limelight and he kind of was excited to possibly step into this reality role?
I mean, I think he did like the limelight, and he definitely did like being by Luann's side. But I also think he wouldn't have done it if he didn't love her.
Mm-hmm.
I really do think he had love for her. You know, they had a lot of the same interests. You know, they would go skiing. He was funny. You know, he was shorter than her and bald. That's like what
Yeah.
she goes for.
But he's appealing. Like, he's like, I can see.
I find him not appealing in the
Okay.
least. I mean,
Well-
it's his personality for
Yeah.
me. You know, I just don't find him appealing. But, you know, I was one of the first people to know that they were engaged, and I was legit happy for her. But when everything started to happen and the misery that he
Mhm.
put her through, this is not okay before you get married.
Yeah.
So that's when I realized it
So they get married, and then, you know, she does that big interview with Annie Cohen. I've got a bottle of rosé and I'm gonna get all the answers, you know, from her. And I don't really think that we did get the answers. Do you think it was just there was one too many reports of him flirting and philandering, whatever that word is, you know,
Philandering.
yeah, but one too many reports of him like flirting out in public, and she finally was like, enough. Like, this is just getting embarrassing now. Like, she couldn't really deny it anymore.
Yeah, definitely the page 6 items all the time, and the fact that he was always out till 3 a.m. I mean, he was out with a guy friend of mine, like the night that it all went down. I actually met him through Tom, but we're still very good friends.
Was that the night in the Hamptons at
Yeah.
that bar?
Yes, Murph's.
Which was the same night that that afternoon is when I met. I met Luann one other time because I went to Jill Zarin's like ice skating party. Like when she was ice skating on the show, she had like an ice
Oh,
skating
really?
party.
I didn't see that.
And I met Luann briefly then, and then at Jill Zarin's luxury luncheon, Luann was there, and I talked to her, and she's really nice. And, you know, I was excited to meet her. So at the time I was like, I'm so
Yeah.
happy for you. Why is everyone so judgy about you and Tom? And she's like, I don't know, you know. And then that night is when all that shit went down.
Yeah. I mean, but
So he was at the bar with your male friend.
yeah,
And
they were out till like 3 a.m, and they were drinking, and they were, you know, wasted, and you know, flirting with girls, and I think pictures were taken, and she was embarrassed.
that's what I'm
I mean,
saying, yeah.
They were married, and they just got married, and he's doing that. I mean, he did not stay home one night. He did not drink one day. I mean, come on. I don't know. I think he drove her in some parts to drink,
Yeah.
like literally.
Well, it's like that famous old movie, Days of Wine and Roses, where it's
Yeah.
like you and your partner, you know, it's like a codependent kind of thing where it's like, well, I'm going to drink tonight. And okay, I guess I'll have a drink too then.
Yeah.
It's almost like, you know, it's sort of, and if you're
Yeah.
both teetering on either being a functioning alcoholic or a non-functioning or a heavy drinker, whatever level you want to give it, it's not great if your partner is you but worse.
Yeah. And I think, also Luann is just very into being in the limelight, and I think part of him didn't want to be in the limelight. As much as he might have enjoyed it, at the end of the day, he really didn't want it as much as she does. So I think that's also, a big disconnect.
After they broke up, I was in the Hamptons the following summer, so this year, the last year of this time.
And you didn't call me?
I didn't know you, but
Now you do.
What's that? It's that bibliothèque or
Bibliothèque, yeah.
Bibliothèque that everybody goes to. Okay?
My son loves that place.
Yeah, so we went, and I think we went 2 nights out of the 4 nights that I was there. We went 2 nights. One of the nights that we were there, he was there. And
always there. He's always there.
Yeah. So I was like, I went up to him and I'm like,
you did?
Yes. I was kind of just acting like I was just like a fan. Like I didn't want to reveal like who I am or anything. And so I'm like, haha, like kind of flirting with his other friends or whatever. And then I'm like, and I was buzzed. But what happened was, I was like, what really happened with you and Luann?
You asked him
Yes.
that?
And he goes, come here, I'll tell you. And then
No.
we walked just a little bit outside of like the circle. And then he's like, no, I can't.
Did he know who you were?
No. But it was like he was just about to like spill some juice. And then he was like, look, at this point, everybody's a blogger and a social media influencer.
Yeah.
Everybody, what's fun about this job but hard about yours is that you're at a regular restaurant and there's people everywhere and they're taking photos of you and they're posting it being like, Barbara had a salad and, or whatever. Or Barbara was talking to this guy, So it's like, I think that he thought, for that moment, like, who knows who this person is, but she might even just share what I say, even though she's acting like she's like just a normal person.
Right. I ran into him 2 weeks ago in the Hamptons at a birthday party, and Ramona was there, and him, and he growled at me. I saw teeth. All I saw was, with that, like.
So you're not in a good place with Ramona.
Oh no, we're not in a good place.
Yeah.
No, we're not. We never have been in a good place.
Well, let me be Ramona saying that she saw you at a birthday party. So I'm at this really great birthday party in the Hamptons. And, I've known these people for 35 years. And, I got there. And who's there but Barbara? And I'm like, you know what, Barbara? Do you even know these people? Because they're like my really good friends. And you know what? I really don't appreciate it. I think it's really kind of rude that you were growling at me because you said that Tom was growling at you, but actually, I kind of saw you giving me like a dirty look.
Well, let me tell you something. Somebody came in from outside and said, this woman Ramona is standing in the street screaming in the phone at the Uber driver because he hasn't shown up yet. And
what would be an amazing investigative work for my Juicy Scoopers?
I'll do it for you.
Only an Uber driver could do it because I heard it on the radio the other day. This radio host goes, I just found out my Uber score and and it's not good.
What's her Uber?
That's what I'm
Ramona's
saying.
Uber score?
But the only way anyone else can find it out is you'd have to pick up Ramona in your Lyft or Uber, and there it would show it. Like there's no other way for like someone else to find it.
That would be a great like punked type of thing.
Yes.
We should try and figure how to do that.
But it would be kind of great for the Uber drivers out there. But they probably don't want to. But then they don't want to get in trouble.
Yeah.
But I'm like, it would be sort of interesting to know, like, what every reality star's Uber score. I mean, I don't know what mine is. I hope mine's okay.
We could do if we know that she's calling an Uber. I can get in my car. I'll put on like a wig and stuff and like slash with my top hat and pick her up, and she'll never know, And then we could find out how she really is.
So how was the party in the Hamptons? So you avoided Tom.
The party.
So
was
Ramona
great.
doesn't say anything to you?
No, she didn't say a word to me. But I saw her the night before at another party. We actually ended up at the same party. This is July 4th weekend.
God, you're ripping it. Was that when she was with Kelly Dodd all week?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, she was because Kelly came up to me
yes.
and introduced herself to me, and she's lovely.
Oh, good.
Really
good.
sweet.
Yeah.
But I saw Ramona at a party the night before.
Uh-huh.
This is funny. And the party, I took my son to this party, and she goes, and this is probably a $25 million house, a very wealthy guy, and I've known him for 20 years.
Well, I've known him for 30.
Yeah,
okay,
and I've seen her go up to the wife
yes.
of the owner and say, I just, well, you do it better,
yeah.
but I just want want to know, is this like 2 acres or like 3 acres or like 5 acres? It's like a really big piece of property, and I just want to know how big it is. I mean, who says that to like the wife at 11 o'clock at night while fireworks are going off at this gorgeous, party? Like, who says that?
Ramona. But that's why I get a big kick out of Ramona. I love to do the impersonation.
You are so good at it. How did I do, by the way?
You did good. You did
I
good.
did good.
But
My first time.
I love, like, I get what everyone says, and I don't think she denies it. But now I don't even know when she goes, well, I'm trying to do better. And now I think in her brain, whether it's conscious or not, she kind of knows she shouldn't change.
She doesn't care.
You just don't think she cares.
No,
Yeah.
she doesn't care at all. She doesn't care if she's mean to people. She doesn't care.
Well, it's like working for her. So it's like, it's working for her. People find her funny. I find her funny. I guess if you're not on the end of it, like, who cares? And I'm like, and even at this point, I don't think Bethany is surprised by any of it.
Yeah.
Even the stuff about Dennis. Like, I think she was pissed, but I don't even think that it surprised Bethany. You know what I mean?
Really? I thought that was so cruel. I was
Yeah.
like, no matter how anybody is in life, how could anybody say that? How could it come from their brain out
When
of
she
their
said, well, he
mouth?
couldn't be that smart because he was doing drugs, Dennis. And I said, well, it's a
Yeah.
very ignorant thing to do, because the biggest problem in America right now is people being addicted and dying from prescription drugs.
Right.
So you would think, like, literally in the week that he died, there's probably 4 other high-profile cases in America of people, that month. So it's like, I just think that's just, again, that's just like she's not self-aware, but she's not aware of the issue.
And we had just gotten done with the intervention with Luann, so it was
Yeah.
just, he passed away just shortly
Do you
after.
think when Bethany had her freak out at the dinner, that weird dinner with the lobster Pop-Tarts and stuff, in Miami, and she just like lost it, do you think there was a moment where Bethany, in her, like, it all crashing down, thinking, I spent this time and my energy on you when I should have been more aware and focused on Dennis? Like, I didn't know Dennis had 2 more weeks. I think she knew he had an issue.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder if there's some weird, like, people have that, like, when they lose someone, whether it's your mom or something, you're like, I wouldn't have gone on that, trip. Or, like, I feel like with Teresa in New Jersey, she has revealed many times she's very pissed at Joe because she spent a year doing her prison time, essentially she blaming him for it, and that year her mom was alive, and then like 2 months after she got out, her mom died.
Mhm,
And
yeah.
so she's like, I missed that year, I missed that precious time. I didn't know it was so precious at the time.
Yeah.
But now I want to blame someone for possibly causing me to have missed that time.
Yeah, I think it was really a mixture. It was like a culmination of so many things. First of all, we started filming shortly after Dennis's passing, so she absolutely had no time to grieve, and she had to go right into, shooting. So could you imagine, like, the pressure to be on? Because
Yeah.
Bethany's always on.
Right.
And I think that mixed with what you just said, mixed with just, the divorce, the ongoing battle, the custody
Yeah.
battle, I think she really unleashed on Luann, and I think it was just everything together.
And then I felt for Luann, because in the last reunion, when she's like, yeah, I was into myself. I was into myself because being around all of you girls drinking a lot was really hard. And I thought that made so much sense. Like,
Yeah.
I can't be, I'm not an alcoholic.
Yeah.
Maybe I am, but I'm not. And I don't want to go to dinners and shit if for some reason I can't drink that. And if you're going to blood test the next day and you can't have a drink,
Yeah.
you're
Miami
like,
was...
oh, let's not plan my birthday that night. Like, it's hard to do it.
Miami was absolute torture. I mean,
Yeah.
from the moment we stepped foot in that house, it was constant flow of booze,
Mhm.
and I'm not a big drinker, so it was hard for me to
Be around how the intoxication.
be around it's like such non-stop drinking. And
Yes.
I don't know how to do, my body just doesn't do it, And
Right.
even if I did do it, I go into like a happy, like I'm just happy, I'm just myself
Yeah.
and happy. I don't go into like, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde mode, which
Right.
some of the girls do. And I think poor Luann, I mean, I felt really bad for her. I felt bad for myself, though, on the
Okay,
trip.
so then you have
forget about Luann.
So
took
let's
care
talk
of
about
her.
that. Okay, so now you've joined the cast and you're hanging out, and there was a moment where you're feeling left out because Luann, isn't totally like, being as supportive and trying to include you as she should, and so you kind of share that you feel weird, and you come to Bethany, and Bethany, I thought was It was interesting, but it was just like, put on a bathing suit, get in the game. I was just kind of like, and I just think that must be really hard because you're like, okay, I'm on this show. I have to engage with these people, but they're making it hard.
Yeah. I mean, I really felt like I did when I was 13, and my parents
Yes.
dropped me off at camp, and they were like, "We'll see you in a few weeks," and I was just like grabbing onto my dad's leg.
Wait,
Please
you're
don't-
making me feel so bad. I dropped off my son on
Please
Monday.
don't leave me. Yeah.
Wait, I just dropped my son off Monday for 2 weeks at camp.
My
He's
son didn't want. My
13.
son refused to go to camp when he was 13. He cried. I had the camp director come
You're killing
to
me
our
right now.
apartment.
Can you please
and
make
he
sure
would
I
not.
email Brandon
Yes.
today?
He would not go, and I just couldn't. Like, I know a lot of moms push their sons to go,
I guess I did.
but I mean, maybe I did the wrong thing. I don't know. But I just felt like he was going to hate me for life if I shipped
He
him
told
off.
me that so he's jokingly mad, and then I did drive him there to this Catalina camp, which is like an hour and a half drive from our house to the port in San Pedro, and I'm like, Brandon, you have to, mostly because the kids this age, all they want to do is be on YouTube and play video games. So it's not even like even Disneyland, it's like, all right, if you really have to go.
You
Like,
gotta give them
literally
something to do,
nothing.
yeah.
Like, so you almost, I kind of think these camps are going to become more and more popular because it's almost like the only way you can get your kid to be social. So I'm like, sorry, Brennan, you're going to have to go. What about when it's time to send you to college? Like, I can't. And he's like, well, at least in college I'd have a laptop and a phone because there's no electronics. And then he goes, how would you like if I sent you to mom camp where all you do is just glug, glug, glug wine with your friends and you look for deals on your phone? And I'm like,
Is he talking
amazing.
to my son? He sounds like the same
Yeah.
kid.
I'm like, this sounds amazing, but like mom camp, but I can see. So you just felt like the left out kid at the middle school or
I
whatever.
felt really left out. I felt that even though Luann said that she, was there for me, I really felt like that I was on my own.
Yeah.
And I just felt this gorgeous house and beautiful surroundings, but inside I felt like pretty dead.
And at one point, were you thinking like, why the fuck did I even sign up for this show?
Yeah, and I felt, when I went out for a jog that next morning,
Yeah.
I had my American Express card on my phone, and I was just like, I'm not going back. I just didn't want to go back.
And do you reveal those thoughts to like a producer?
Yeah,
And they try to encourage you to stay, or what?
Well, I revealed those thoughts earlier on when Dorinda and I were having our issues.
Well, let's talk about that. You go over to Dorinda's house to possibly help her with the remodel before she sells the place. Wasn't that
She was either going to rent it or
Oh,
sell
right.
it. She wasn't sure. She asked me to come over to look at a renovation.
Yeah.
And I did, and we were talking, and she brought up Luann.
Right.
And we had the big gangster lunch at that point.
Yeah.
And she brought up Luann and asked my opinion, and I gave it to her.
Yeah.
And the whole thing started all over again, and she ended
You're
up
drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, drinking the Kool-Aid, but she's drinking a lot more than I was, so I don't know. But yeah, I ended up being like, take your renovation and shove it, and I left.
So I find that, so that's my other question, getting back to your original business. How many times have you like fired a client or realized that like it's not worth it? Like, when did you start to get that place in a career where, because I know eventually you come, like I remember my dad always used to be like, you know what, this deal isn't going to change my lifestyle. Like when someone's a huge pain in the ass.
Right.
I know lawyers fire clients too, like that type of a thing.
I have never fired a client. I've had the clients from hell. I've worked with some of the biggest supermodels, in the world. I've worked with some of the largest corporations in the world. And I've always seen it through because I just believe that, and that's why they say I'm the voice of reason on the show. I'm calm and cool because I've really surrounded myself and I built my business based on dealing with all different types.
Yeah.
And you kind of get to understand people's strengths, people's weaknesses,
Mm-hmm.
like how people are a little off sometimes, and I'm patient. I'm patient
Yeah.
with people, and I really believe in empowering women. Like, I'm a huge supporter of women in business and trying to help women do anything that they think that they can put their minds to. And that's why this business, owning a construction company in New York City is so important to me, and to be a pioneer and to, teach women and tell women that they too can start their own businesses. And
Yeah.
I think that's where the disconnect for me with Housewives was at times. I didn't feel like it was like that,
Well, I mean, I think that Bethany, who, is on Shark Tank and had, on when she had her talk show, she had a whole special segment about female entrepreneurs. However, I think she's had many hypocritical moments on the show where she's bashing some of the other girls' entrepreneurial aspirations, or bashing that particular product, or making fun of them for trying to integrate it into the show. And I'm like, my God, you were the queen of it. Like,
Yeah.
and everyone, we've learned from you. Thank you. I mean, when I do stuff with Juicy Scoop, I'm like, I'm gonna Bethany Frankel this. I'm gonna wear the shirt. Like, I literally say that because I'm like, she was so great about getting Skinny Girl out every freaking time. And then when somebody else wants to have something, she's like, what is this? And she makes some snarky remark, which makes the show extremely entertaining.
Yeah.
But I mean, I feel like nobody calls her out on that but me, and I'm
Yeah.
not the cast.
Yeah, no, I mean, I didn't see any type of support system from her.
Mhm.
I mean, I have a novel, I have a brand. I mean, I actually, for my book release, I called her to say, do you want to sponsor your alcohol?
Mhm.
I had my assistant call her assistant. Do you want to put your alcohol, Skinny Girl brand,
Right,
alcohol
for the
there?
book party.
Because I was thinking about her company to put at my book party.
Right.
And that's what I do. Like, if you had a clothing brand, I was like, do you want to hang your clothing? Whatever.
Yes.
Like, I'm always thinking of ways to, even when she did her relief effort.
Yes.
And what was the latest relief effort? I forgot where it was, but I donated all these solar lights.
Yeah.
I think it was Puerto Rico. I think it was.
Right. That's great.
I donated. She said, "Do you have lights?" And within 24 hours, I had pallets of lights at the airport.
To donate.
To donate.
Mhm.
So, like, I will do anything humanly possible.
So
And
what was the response to the Skinny Girl margaritas at the Heels of Steel party?
That she that there was no other opportunities, that she has no sponsorship left, or I was something that she wasn't doing it, was the bottom line. So I was like, okay.
Well, yeah. of
I mean, I
course.
did it I didn't
Of
care,
course.
I just
mean,
was trying
I've
to,
had parties too where people are, you can send she could have sent a couple cases, even if she was like, just because I want to be a friend and relieve that expense from you.
I mean,
like, it doesn't really matter.
I invited everybody
Of
to
course,
my
yes.
book party, and Luann came. I mean, Tinsley was in China, so she couldn't come, but Dorinda was supposed to come. She didn't come. She
Mhm.
said that all of a sudden a 50-person party she had to go to, a sit-down dinner. So, and this was after the reunion. So she RSVP'd yes before the reunion, and then after the reunion, she
Yeah.
said no.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, yeah, that's, I mean, well, for the Barbies.
What's
so
she gonna do?
With my Barbies, so Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and New York, I've been doing them. I have them all, and I love them. And all the Beverly Hills girls have like reposted, retweeted, and of New York, who's done it? Definitely Luann. Luann loves it.
I
Sonia.
love
Tinsley
it so
did
much.
it.
Sonia.
Tinsley loved it. Sonia loved it. Did Dorinda ever? I feel like
Maybe
Dorinda.
once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Bethany, never.
Never.
And her Barbie is the cutest one.
Yeah, I love her
And I'm
Barbie.
like, but I think she's just like, I'm not helping that bitch. It's like, I'm not
Right,
helping Heather
right,
McDonald get
right.
one more follower. And Dorinda had brought that up
I
about
don't
her too.
know why.
She's like, you won't even tag us, Bethany, in like one of the last.
She doesn't want anybody, maybe, this is just what I'm assuming,
Yes.
to be better, to achieve, maybe.
But that's what I think is
don't-
so hypocritical, because it's all about be strong and help other women. But you'll go help the person that, is 25, that's a single mom, which is very nice. But you also got to help your friend who's on your show with you.
I mean,
And
action
it's-
speaks louder than words. I mean, even when my reunion dress, this gorgeous Barbie,
Yeah.
I gave my reunion dress away. I don't know if you saw this. I did a contest on Instagram.
Oh, good.
To women that were in need of having a gown. And
Yes.
this one woman who won, she worked all day and she was going to school all night, and there was a corporate ball and she couldn't afford a dress. So I gave her my reunion dress. I gave
love that.
another woman who went back to college at the age of 56. I gave her, and she graduated, a book and my toolkit. And another woman who had a great idea, the traveling dress, sister of the traveling dress.
Yes.
So she was going to wear a dress and then give it to each of her friends, up to 5 friends, so they could wear it to an event. So I took a dress out of my closet that I'd never worn that had tags on it, and I gave it to them with a book. So, and I posted it all on Instagram. And, you know, I just think that there could be more of that, you know,
Yeah.
within these women.
And I think that you know, the Beverly Hills girls, there's a lot of controversy about the Puppygate and the LVP, but Elise Vanderpump. But those girls have bonded and they do support each other's things, and it's not a snarky thing. And
I don't see
But-
that with New York. I really don't
Yeah.
at all. I really don't. And it's sad.
Right.
You know, it was sad when Sonia didn't show up to my book party. I've known Sonia for 15 years. She said she was coming and she just didn't show up. And, you know, it's just whatever. It's so you move on and you work with them, and I've
so
worked
do
with
you?
them. And
So we see you tonight. Wait, let me go through my questions first before.
I think is it tonight? I think it's
No,
Thursday.
tomorrow. Well, this will be airing tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
So this will be on Thursday. Okay, so when Bravo then approached you after this thing, because it was kind of perfect because you'd been slightly introduced. So you were excited to do it. You had the book coming out. You thought it'd be fun. You knew the people. In like retrospect, how do you feel about the whole situation?
No, I'm so glad that I did it,
Good.
Heather. I really am. I think it was a great experience, and I always tell everyone, if there's an opportunity in front of you, grab it. You never know where it's going to lead you. Take chances in life,
Yeah.
take risks. You know, I didn't think anything bad was going to happen to it. I mean, I own a construction company, Evergreen Construction in New York City. I wanted other women and people to learn that this exists.
Right.
That you can get into a male-dominated field. You don't have to be afraid. You don't have to just go into fashion. And, you know, the door is not closed. Even though it might read men only,
Yes.
you can create your own entrance and you can be successful at it. And, you know, the fact that I had a novel coming out at the same time, I mean, like, you
The
know,
stars
I'm just,
aligned,
yeah,
yeah.
the stars aligned, and I was just really happy. And I think doing Housewives was a valuable experience. It was an interesting experience. I got to work with a lot. I think all the women are really strong, powerful women in their own rights, even though
They're all, and what New York, and I'm not saying this because you're in front of me, but New York is my favorite. I think because they're all such strong, entertaining characters on their own, that like there isn't like, you know, they're like Ramona and Sonia are like a Lucy and Ethel, like funny, but alone they're funny, you know, like they're just characters and
They're
they don't
characters,
give a
yeah.
fuck. And part of it is saying the really snarkiest stuff, like when Bethany's like, look at it, Ramona, look at her in her diaper. I was like, Jesus.
yeah. I mean, Bethany,
I was like,
you
holy
can't-
shit.
you can't get anyone more witty. I
Yeah.
mean, she for a housewife, she is like, I think the wittiest
Oh yeah.
housewife, quick, sharp, the things that come out of her mouth.
Now,
I mean,
did
are
that
amazing.
scare you? Because she scares the shit out of me.
No.
I'd be scared that she would come up with some insecurity that I wasn't even aware of that I had like myself. Like,
Yeah, I'm not scared at her at all. I mean, I think
what do you think about when Ramona said, "I'm scared of you"?
she's
People-
scared of Bethany because she's not confident. You know, you
Yeah.
have to be a confident bitch to really, you know, respect Bethany. You know,
Yeah.
you can't be I mean, I am not one iota jealous of Bethany. I'm like, you go, girl.
Right.
You do it. You get it. You know, you've worked hard. You know, you've made it on your own. I'm like, you get it. That's how I feel
Well, I
about
don't
her.
think anybody is jealous of Bethany after what she's been through with her horrible ex-husband.
Yeah, that's
Like like she's had so much tragedy and sadness along with all the great success and the perfect body and the fun trip and the
Right.
cute boyfriend. Like that's all great.
right.
But like some of the other stuff, it's like, oh my God, the 7-year divorce. Like I think any woman just is like, this is just horrible.
Yeah. No, I mean, nobody's life is perfect.
Right,
You know, and
yeah.
everybody has their strengths and weaknesses, their ups and downs, and I mean, I think that's why the show works, because everybody is so. There's so many facets to all these women.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's trying to do so much, so it makes for an interesting TV.
So wait, let me ask a couple of things. How did you feel about the Ramona makeover when you got those new clothes? Do you still love the clothes?
I do. I actually brought the blouse with me. I have the blouse in my closet at the
They
Four
were
Seasons.
good. They were good
Yeah.
outfits.
No, she has good taste, you know. And
Yeah.
I think Ramona looks amazing. You know, I don't even want to
Absolutely.
say for her age, she just looks amazing
Yes.
as a woman. I think pretty much. I know people bust on her outfits, her crop. I mean, I think she
love it.
emulates me. I'm wearing a crop top today, you know, and she's always wearing a crop top. I got my Hermes belt on. You know, she kind of dresses similar. You know, she's trying to change the way I look, but yet she's dressing
Right.
like me.
Yeah.
So
I love it. I think it's so entertaining. I can't. I don't want her to ever go away.
I
How
don't
do you
think she
feel
will
about
go away.
How do you feel about Tinsley? You know, how they kind of got on her for not living in New York, and they really kind of revealed that in the last episode of the reunion, and I thought that was kind of telling about her future possibly in the show.
I mean, I agree with Bethany, I have to say. I mean, a housewife of New York, it's one thing that none of us are housewives.
Right.
But then to also not have a place in New York,
Well, she said she got a year lease.
okay. I mean, yeah, if she does, then okay. But I just don't feel like she's a permanent New Yorker.
Yeah.
You know, someone that
Did you bond with her at all?
I think not in the beginning, but when we were in Miami and she was crying, they didn't. They showed a little glimpse of it, like a flashback, when Ramona said that she looked better without makeup.
Oh, yeah.
and she
They
made
showed
makeup
that
looks older.
Unseen footage, yeah.
Yeah, she was actually crying downstairs, and one of the producers told me, Tinsley's crying. And I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
You know, and of course I'm the one that's always going to someone who's crying, because,
Right.
you know, I'm like very compassionate. So I'm like, Tinsley, what's wrong? You know, and she was telling me, and I was like, don't listen to Ramona. She doesn't know what she's talking about.
Oh,
She's
that made her cry. The Ramona
yeah,
comment.
yeah. She was like being really.
She was like, you know what? I look better than you, and I'm older.
I mean, like, even her bodily movements, you can't replicate that. I mean, it's almost like she has Asperger's in
Yeah.
some way, you know? It's just crazy. So, yeah, Ramona could never make me cry, ever.
Yeah.
You know, I just look at her and I'm like, okay, you got, like, issues, girlfriend, you know? But I understand how people are tired of her, but people also are entertained by her.
Very entertained.
Yeah.
So I mean, I know you don't know, but do you think that you will go back?
You know, I have no idea. I have no idea what the future holds. And again, you know what I said earlier, I believe in. I know that the producers will do the right thing. And if they think that I'm an asset to the show, then I'll be back. If I'm not an asset to the show, I won't be back. And either way, it's fine with me. I'm
Right.
happy I did it. You know,
Well, I think what makes you interesting about a cast member in this franchise is that you're not desperate and thirsty to
I'm
stay
not.
on the show. You have this other career, you're grateful for the year, you know, which is really interesting because when they first brought you out, you know, it was like, you know, it was hard. It was like Ramona didn't invite you out for drinks.
right.
You know, like, right, you're sitting right there, and she's like, well, I just really wanted fun with Tinsley. You know, and it's just like,
So
what
full
the,
of it.
what the, you know, and what, do you think that's just almost like where they're like, all right, let me see if you're going to stick around before I put any energy in it. It's almost like when your friend gets a new boyfriend, and your husband's like, we're not eating dinner with them unless they're like on 6 months because I've met enough dudes
Yeah.
and I'm sick of it.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that her being in this game long enough, kind of the way Vicky sometimes was with OC and New Girl, she was just like, do we have to do this so they're even going to stick around? Like, I felt she was a little bit like that.
Yeah, and also she was trying to stick up for Dorinda, be loyal to Dorinda, because I, you know, drew the line in the sand with the whole clam bake, even though it was Bethany's idea.
Oh,
that-
that's right.
Yeah.
The clam bake, yes.
Yeah.
About how you said that she couldn't come.
Yeah,
Do
but
you
it was-
regret that?
Well, I don't know if you remember the lunch at
Yes,
Bethany's
I do.
house,
And-
where Bethany said, well, then Dorinda can't come. You know, so it wasn't that I said Dorinda can't come. It was like,
Dorinda can't come because Luann was still upset with her.
yeah, and she wasn't going to feel comfortable. So I wanted to do, and this was legit. I mean, I was her power of attorney. I saved her ass so bad.
Luann's.
Oh, there was nobody else that saved her ass more than me, and that really never came out. And I don't have an ego to be like, hey, I'm the one that did everything for you, because she is where she is financially because of me.
So you had the power of attorney, not Bethany.
Right. I had the power of attorney.
People thought Bethany did.
No. And I was the one that dealt with 4 attorneys. Not 1, not 2, not 3. 4 attorneys. I'm the one that she called countless times from rehab. I'm the one that dealt with her family, okay? Weeks after, okay, and the intervention. So nobody knows more than I do. You know, and I will take it to the grave. Like, I've never told anybody, and even though I was on a reality
What
show.
did you think about when then Bethany, you know, because I did kind of redo this scene because I thought it was amazing, is when Bethany's having her freak out in Miami, she's like, I chased you around the woods when you had a negligee on and didn't let anyone know.
Well,
and
she
I'm like,
didn't.
well,
She
now
didn't
you
chase
did
her.
though.
She didn't chase her around. It was Anne and Mary that chased her, because it was at Mary's house in Yorktown Heights. So Bethany did not chase her anywhere. Maybe she chased her in Sag Harbor, but there's
why is anyone chasing her? Where was she running to?
she was running into the woods.
Just freaking out.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She was running into the woods.
Yeah. But I'm like, but now you did reveal it. You tried to, you were patting yourself on the back.
Well, yeah, because
I
you know
kept
what?
this a secret so long,
Right.
but now I'm going to actually put it in a scene that I know will never be cut, and the world will see, and they'll know that I was this great friend that chased you into the woods. So who cares that you kept it a secret for a few months? You waited till this great moment, this dramatic moment, to reveal it. So
I mean,
I feel
Bethany-
it's like a wash. I would be
Bethany's-
like, well, it doesn't matter now that you did. If I was Luann, I'd be like, it doesn't matter now that you did it
Yeah.
for me, because now you just did.
Right.
Like, you know,
Right,
the
right.
fact that you kept it a secret for a couple months, thanks, but like,
Yeah.
this is worse. I would have rather you said it a few months ago.
Well, that's why I didn't say some of the things I said. And, you know, Bethany did help. She did get her, you know, paid for the reunion when she wasn't there. And she did get her, I don't know if she got rehab for free or a discount, but there was some kind of accommodation with that. And I think, you know, with when Luann was manic, she was, which everybody knows, she was asking Dennis through Bethany for, you know, the $6 million for this crazy house that I stopped her from buying. I stopped the banker from wiring the money. So
but where was the $6 million coming from? Or you mean the down payment?
the down payment.
Right.
Yeah.
And you stopped her because you're like, this is too big of a house
No,
for you.
I'm not even explaining it right.
Yeah.
It was so much more than stopping. It was so many things where she would email the banker multiple times, even from rehab, and I would be on the phone with the banker. If you wire that money, I will come in there and beat the living crap out of you. Like, that's where I went.
Yeah.
And then I would calm down and say, please, this is somebody's livelihood. You cannot wire this type of money. She's not, but I have an email from her. And I would say, it doesn't matter. She's in rehab. You know, so it was really intense. It was really
So we see that you went to a few of the shows, and again you had, this time you did have a mic on, or I think you had a mic on, and you said, let's not get it twisted. She's not
my hot mic moments.
She's not Adele or whatever you said. And we see that you mention it on the show, the reunion. What do you regret that? Are you okay? Are you and Luann okay now?
I mean, first of all, it was my sister. They keep saying it was a friend. It
Okay.
was my sister.
Uh-huh.
And she had just come in from London, and she has no conception of housewives.
Okay.
She's lived in London for 12 years, and even though they do have it in London,
Right.
she's not a fan. She doesn't know any of the... She only knows Luann because
Yes.
I've introduced her. So she came to the show, and she didn't know what to expect, and we were in a conversation, and I think she expected someone, so is she like Adele, you know, and I was like, no, she's not like Adele, and I did take it, I should never have said that, you know, and, I mean, Luann's a great entertainer.
Yeah, totally. You know, and I now, do you think the girls were at all jealous of it, or were they just sick of it sick of having to go to more than one show?
I don't think it's jealous. I think that you know, they counted how many times Luann says cabaret
Right.
and show, my show, my show.
But what if they went back and counted how many times Bethany said skinny girl
That's
over
true.
the years?
That's
I mean,
true.
it
That's
would not
true.
even be. I mean, it is
Good
her.
point, good
I mean,
point.
it is her job. If I was on the show and you counted how many times I said stand up or a live show, that's what I'm doing. I'm saying it throughout the day. You
But
know,
I think that's going with how Luann has acted to people. Like, she's got 10 years of history with these women,
Right.
so they're seeing a side of her, a
change.
narcissistic
Yeah.
side of Luann that has continued, and they're calling that out because it's just become part of her behavior, you know, and
Mhm.
how like they feel like she's not self-aware of other people and she doesn't give, you know, I mean, I felt that a little bit with me too,
Mm-hmm.
you know, where sometimes you feel like you're a better friend to someone than
Right.
they are to you know, I felt that way.
Yeah.
So,
And where are you guys now, you and Luann?
I mean, she's I think we're, you know, a little disappointed.
Yeah.
So, I mean, hopefully, when the reunion's over, we could all put this past us and move on.
Yeah.
But I don't think she has a reason to be mad at me. I mean, I've apologized. I gave her a clam bake for her birthday. You know,
after the reunion.
yes,
Uh-huh.
no, yeah, right after the reunion, I said, she knew about
Did Ramona
this.
come and stay 20 minutes and take all the clams?
I didn't invite Ramona.
Oh.
Marisol came.
Yes.
Yeah, and
Marisol from Miami.
Miami,
Yes.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
And so I said, I'm really sorry. She knew it was going to happen. She knew it was going to be on the reunion. I said, you know what? You didn't have a great birthday. The reunion was the same day as your birthday. I'm going to throw a clam bake for you. I'm going to invite all your closest friends. And we had, I paid for everything. I catered it. It was
Yeah.
beautiful. And, you know, then she felt okay.
And then she came to your book party.
She came to my book party.
So now that the reunion's on, is it kind
She's
of
mad again.
It's conjuring up the stuff again, which
Yeah.
every reality person that has reunions says, because you get in a good place and you kind of forget,
Yeah.
and then you see it again, and then you read these things that are like, I can't believe so and so said that to you, Queen, you know,
Yeah.
and then that you've got all these cheerleaders and or negative people both
Yeah.
in your ears,
And
and
it makes
it's
me
hard.
sad because, you know, Luann and I have been friends for 14 years, and, you know, I don't want, out of anybody on that show, I don't, I consider her a close friend. I don't want this show to, I mean, you say things, you do things in the moment, for the moment, and, you know, I didn't want to hurt her, and I didn't mean to hurt her, and I, you know, I really do hope
And
we
at
can
any
move past
point,
this.
was she a little bit like, God, I got you on the show?
She didn't get me on the show.
But does she think that she a
I
little
think
bit
so.
did?
I
Because
think
it
so.
was the connection of her, really.
It was a connection of me knowing her, but really what happened was that one of the producers, the executive producer, saw me at her cabaret show and said to the other executive producer, she would make a great housewife. And they contacted me. And then they called Luann and said, what do you think? And that's when this whole thing started.
And then Luann was very supportive of it. Or
I don't
no?
think she was very supportive.
You
No,
don't?
No.
Because I've talked to people.
I mean, I'm very honest.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to tell you
Yeah.
like it is.
So you don't think because, well, the thing is, in someone like Luann's defense, to a Real Housewife that's been on a while, and then they're like, we're interested in your really good friend, which clearly you were a ride or die, really good friend. She's smart enough to know that in this game of reality TV, your friendship might be jeopardized by having you on the show. And so if you feel her maybe being not as supportive as you'd like is actually because she was selfish in that she wanted to make sure this friendship didn't have any cracks in it because she knows the way this shit happens.
See, I didn't know that. So to
Mhm.
me, it was all about supporting Luann and making sure she was okay. That's all I did. That's why I felt like I was there, was to protect her.
Yeah.
And then I realized when I was in Miami and Bethany was like, "Wake up, sister. You know, you need to get on the game." I was like, "You know what? I'm in this alone. I better step up." And that's when I said at the table, you know, Luann, I don't really think that you've been supportive, and I don't think that you've really, you know, showed me, you know, the way, what I should be doing. I mean, she kind of just left me blind, and I would have loved, you know, some support, especially from an OG like her.
Right. Because they know what can help your time shine. They know to put you in situations where, you know, it's a scene that'll stick, it'll be funny, it'll show us in a great light, it'll, you know, they I mean, I would think at this point you kind of know.
Yeah.
But I do think that she was, I think she, you know, I thought it was a very honest moment when she's like, yeah, I was taking a swim. She went swimming when they were all drinking before the dinner.
I think they really got
and
on
then,
her.
Yeah, and then went to the swim. And then I was very, very defensive of her going and taking the photo because I do that. If I'm in town 2 weeks before a show that's not sold out yet, I do go by the venue.
I mean,
like, those are all things that you have to sell these freaking tickets. And even though her show sells out, you still have an agent that's like, hey, you know, there's this much left. And you're like, well, shit, you know, and if I don't continue to sell out, then they won't book me again. And so she's like, well, let me go do it, and this will be great. You know, it's a double whammy. Yeah. But, you know, people find, I'm like, yeah, anybody that's a performer was not critical of that.
Right.
You know.
I didn't think it was bad. I mean, Luann loves to go in the ocean. I mean, when we are in the Hamptons, it's
wait, I was going to say, with the Sonia thing, taking her to the rehab, taking her to the AA meeting was weird. The whole thing was weird.
Yeah.
They asked her the day before. She's like, I don't want to go. They forced her because I think everyone's a little afraid of Bethany. So Bethany's like, you should go. She's like, all right. She goes. So then she goes, okay, I'll go. And I felt for Sonia because she's like, this is my vacation. I don't want to hear these sad, depressing stories.
I mean,
and I remember being 13. My brother was at a very fancy rehab in Beverly Hills, and we all had to go to the Wednesday night family nights, and or you know, loved one nights. And I was 13, and I'm the youngest of 5, and my parents didn't hide anything from me. Okay. And the only thing I liked about going to it is my dad would get out the Zagat guy. We'd go to a nice fancy restaurant after every rehab meeting. So I was like, oh, at least we can go to like I'm gonna go hungry, you know. But I was there at 13 and I was hearing the worst sad stories. Like, this beautiful girl was basically saying how she was like a hooker, had to be a hooker. And afterwards, my mom's like, oh, isn't that sad? She had the face of an angel, but look at all the disgusting things she had to do. So I got how Sonia was like, fuck, I didn't want to hear about this homeless guy. I didn't want to, you know. And then what I loved is that she's like, well, Lou likes it because she gets up and she tells some jokes. And I'm like, Lou is using this time for stage time.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I've always joked about when I was an aspiring stand-up. It was so hard to get stage time in LA, much harder than New York, that I was like, should I start going to AA meetings just for like the 7 minutes, like to practice? And I jokingly said it, but I was like, you're basically doing a routine up there, and you can, that is actually how Chelsea Handler became a stand-up. She had to go to court-ordered DUI class. Wow. She got up and told her story and killed and was like, I think I can do stand-up. So I'm like, I think, conscious or not, Luann kind of likes it because she gets to practice her stuff. She
loves being on stage.
Yes, she doesn't deny that.
Yeah, no, and she's great. I mean,
but I love that Sonia pointed it out.
Yeah, it was so. I mean, even way before we knew each other. I mean, way before I was on Housewives or anything.
Yeah.
We would go out for my birthday or wherever, a dinner party, and she would all of a sudden with the glass, you know, ding, 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 and she would start belting out, you know, like a show tune, and she just loves to perform, and you got to give it to her. I mean, let the girl go.
Yeah.
You know, let her do it.
Yeah, I'm supportive of it because I'm like, you know what, you're doing it, and as long as people are buying tickets and they are enjoying it, and they, you know,
I've seen the show 6 times or 8 times, whatever.
And I understand how the girls were like, you know, Ramona was like, I just really don't want to see the show again. But that's fine. To me, with my girlfriends, like, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna. I go, you come if you come. You know, it actually makes it's less stressful for me when they don't come. You know, and so sometimes they get big groups together. And other times I'm like, if you want to come, fine. If you don't, because it's like, I get it. Like, you've seen me.
Did you see with Bethany
when
she did the testimonial? You support me, I support you. You support me, I support me. And she starts like spinning her head. That was so funny. Oh my god.
I mean, they're all so funny. I mean, Dorinda's impression, which we'll see tonight, was funny too. You know, the room and the But then when I interviewed Luann, she goes, yeah, I've been in the shark room 3 times.
Yeah.
But then you saw how it all happened, and it wasn't an intent against Luann.
Yeah.
But then you just see it. It's just, it's just very entertaining, and I'm glad that we got to see more of you as the season went on, and I'm glad that you could come here and share so much. I'm excited for your book. My people are readers.
Oh,
so
good. Do you know why I'm here right now?
Tell me.
Because they're looking to make Heels of Steel into a TV series.
Well, I was just going to ask you that because I
Yeah.
think it absolutely could be.
Yeah, and who could you play?
Maybe you?
Yeah, I think so. I mean,
That would be, well, now I'm definitely.
Heather from the Bronx.
Yes,
How would that go?
I definitely think this could be a TV show. I love it, and I think there could be so many different fun things to see this. And I think it's just in this day and age, it's really powerful to see women and young girls, and in careers that are not predominantly, for women. Like my friend, her niece is just about to become a firefighter, and
Wow.
the department just featured her like on the Instagram, and was just so she's
That's
so excited.
amazing.
And it's like 10 years ago that would have been what, and a really big deal, and it's just like, so it's just, I think that aspect of it's great, and that sexy. And so wait, now what happened with your love life? So you were married,
I was married.
you
And
had your baby.
I had my baby.
Yeah, who's here? Yeah.
Who's here? And I got divorced
Uh-huh.
after 5 years, and
Are you friendly with him still, or?
from a distance.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're friends. I mean, he's the type of guy where if I'm in trouble
Mhm.
in any sense of the word, I can call him up and he would be there. It's not like we speak every day or every
Yeah.
week or every month, but I know he would have my back if I needed him,
Right.
which is good
Yeah.
to know.
And so now are you single
I'm single and ready to mingle
with men or women?
Well, I prefer men. I had my lesbian stage.
And what were the years of the lesbian stage? Because I'm also obsessed with late in life lesbians.
I'm someone that believes you love who you love.
Right.
I really do. Like,
Why not?
Somebody
Yeah.
could be in front of me and there's like something about their personality.
Do you think Sonia was jealous of you and Bethany? Because I think there's a
Yes,
little lesbian.
I do.
I think Sonia's a little lesbian, and I think
Oh,
she is a
totally.
little into Bethany.
Totally into Bethany.
Yeah.
She says it's just because of, what did she call it? Admiration.
Yes.
That's why she feels the way she does. Bullshit. She's very excited by Bethany. She always has been.
Yes.
So, and Bethany and Luann did the I Dare You to Kiss Barbara,
Yeah.
and not just a kiss but a make out. So
Was
you
it
know,
good?
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, okay, so you're,
Yeah,
but
so
you're
I-
open to whatever.
I ended up with a woman. This was like,
Oh, what years? Like.
I think it was 2015.
Uh huh.
Around that time. No, 2014 actually. My dad had passed away, and she was someone that, she was wonderful. I mean, just such a wonderful human being, and she taught me so much about myself. She taught me how to be confident, even though at the time I wasn't.
Now, had you never really been with a girl?
No, not like that.
Not like in a relationship.
Never
So
in a
you
relationship.
feel like Kim Cattrall's character when she had that lesbian artist
Yes.
after her?
Yes, that's right.
Yes.
Again,
From Sex and the City.
I wish. I really.
So what? She likes to go down on me. What's the problem? Yeah.
No, it was more about love. Like, I really loved her. I was in love
So
with her.
how long were you guys together?
Almost 2 years.
And what happened in the end?
In the end, it's like that feeling that I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel like myself. Like, I really am attracted to the male body parts,
Right.
and when you're missing that,
Right.
like I didn't feel good. I didn't feel like myself.
You feel you weren't being fully authentic then.
Yeah, no, I wasn't. And
Mhm.
I started to feel like uncomfortable, and as much as I loved her, I really felt like this isn't me. This
Mhm.
isn't who I am, and I couldn't be satisfied
Right.
with this. I don't know why. It's just
Yeah.
how I felt. Maybe at a different time, maybe with a different person, maybe it would have felt different. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it was just our relationship, but I'm so thankful that I embraced it, that I was in it, like fully in it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I loved her, and I still love her. I just know that I
Do you
could-
keep in touch at all?
No, she refuses to be in touch with me.
Then-
No, and I'll always have
Does she watch
special.
Housewives?
I think probably not anymore.
Or you think she did back then?
Oh, I know she's watched
Now, were you
it.
an avid watcher throughout all the years?
No.
Oh,
I
really?
wasn't, No. I watched a couple of seasons here and there, but I definitely fell off at times. You know, a couple seasons I wouldn't watch it at all.
Yeah.
But I got back into it, I guess, about a year ago, and then when this happened, I was like, I really better take a crash course on Housewives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, good. Well, I had so much fun. Thank you for coming out here. It's Heels of Steel. You can get it. It's paperback, or you can get it, you know,
Amazon.
on Amazon. You can, you know, put
Barnes
it on
and
your
Noble.
iPad, the whole bit. But a juicy summer read, and won't it be fun to have read it? And then if it becomes a show, you can say, oh, you know, have your own mind.
What do you think of J-Lo? What do you think of J-Lo for the main character?
Oh my God, fabulous!
I know.
That would be. I think she'd be down for something like that.
I know.
Because she did that other show. She just finished that other show that did okay, but you know, it was what was it called? The crimes.
Yeah.
Something
The
like
Blue.
a cop show or
Yes,
something.
she was really good in that. That's why I think, and she play like Jennifer Beal in Flashdance when she was a steel welder? You know, in that video.
Oh, she emulated the video.
Yeah, she
Yes.
emulated it, and she was like so gorgeous in that. I mean, she's hot, you know, like
Yes.
unbelievable. I could see her playing this role.
Yes. This is great. Well, I'm excited.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
Thanks, Heather. It's been so much
Thank
fun.
you.
And thank you for my Barbie. Oh my God.
Well, you don't get to keep her.
Oh, I don't? Can I take
Sorry.
a picture with
you
her?
can take a photo
Oh,
with
yes.
her, but I can't release any of them.
She looks expensive.
I did give Luann's hers, but then I replaced Luann.
You did?
And
Oh
she
my
didn't
God.
have the good dresses. Luann's
That
isn't
is
that
really,
good.
that is such my dress, though.
I know. This is so Betsy, my juicy scooper in Kansas, she makes the dresses. So I asked her, like, once I booked you, I said, make sure, you know, she comes on the 3rd episode of the reunion, make sure that you get this dress. And it came in yesterday. I couldn't believe
It's really gorgeous. Thank you for making that.
You're
And-
welcome. You're welcome. Barbara.
Yes.
No, you just have to be yourself. You
Oh.
you are the you
Okay.
are the dog. Barbara, I want to ask you. Were you aware when you were spraying your legs before that hot Miami party where there's going to be a lot of really hot guys that the spray tan was getting on some of the furniture?
Listen, Heather, I had no idea. I mean, that was literally the first time I ever opened that Sally Hansen bottle, and I just didn't know it was going to get all over. I love a good tan, and I love to look like Jennifer Lopez, and that was the only way I was going to get it done, so I started to squirt myself, and there it was, all over the place, and now, live and learn. You know?
Well, what have you learned now? Where do you do your spray?
Well, now I do it in my shower.
Well, you look great, and I'm glad that you are going to be on the reunion tonight and Juicy Scoop now.
Well, thank you. I feel just gorgeous, and you know, I mean, I hope I get out alive. That's all I gotta say.
Oh, good. Well, we'll be watching. Thank you.
Ciao.
Oh,
Heels of Steel.
wait, turn her like this.
Heels of Steel. Don't forget to buy my book.